Welcome, deep divers. Today we're plunging into, well, a global phenomenon. It's K-pop.
Right.
And it's undeniably one of the most powerful cultural forces out there right now. I mean, it's not just music, is it?
No, not at all.
It's this whole industry just shattering records, selling out massive stadiums worldwide. I mean, think about Blackpink.
Yeah.
Headlining Coachella. First K-pop group to do that. History made.
Huge moment.
And then there's BTS, their economic impact on South Korea. It's staggering. We're talking billions.
Billions, yeah. The projections were something like close to $48 billion by 2023.
Exactly. And contributing what, like 0.3% to the country's entire GDP?
Yeah.
It feels like they're only getting started.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this for you. How did K-pop get this big? How did it achieve this this meteoric rise? And what are the sort of, hidden mechanisms at play, the things that let it operate in this really dazzling but also super intense world?
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is the sheer scale of the operation. Like you said, K-pop isn't just a genre. It's a meticulously crafted system. Yeah, sometimes called cultural technology. It's basically this exportable blueprint, for systematically creating, training, marketing, managing pop stars, their content, everything, on a global scale.
Okay.
So the entertainment companies, they aren't just record labels. They're also artist management, talent agencies, production houses, all rolled into one.
Wow. Okay. All in-house.
Exactly. And that really raises an important question for us. What are the implications of having this kind of integrated, very top-down system, both for its, incredible success globally, but also, maybe more importantly, for the individuals caught up inside it?
That integrated approach, yeah, that certainly explains some of the scale. And for you, our listener, our mission today is really to equip you with a thorough understanding of this whole K-pop industry, from its, massive economic engine right down to the personal stories, often really challenging stories behind these huge global stars. We want you to walk away with those aha moments,
right?
Feeling informed, captivated, hopefully not overwhelmed. So let's dive in. Okay, first up, let's talk about the foundation, the idol, and what people often call the idol factory.
Right, the factory metaphor.
Yeah, because unlike maybe a lot of Western artists who sort of rise organically, K-pop stars or idols, they're really cultivated, often from a very young age.
Cultivated is the right word.
The goal seems to be creating this all-around talent, someone who's not just amazing at singing and dancing, but also, acting, rapping, and maintaining this really polished visual appeal. It's the whole package, meticulously developed.
Indeed. And that cultivation, it starts with this incredibly rigorous trainee system.
The trainee system.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah. Recruitment often kicks off when these kids are still pre-teens, sometimes like 11 to 13, or maybe mid-teens, 15, 16.
So young.
Very young. Many of the Blackpink members, for instance, started around that age. And these trainee contracts, they can last anywhere from, say, 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. There's absolutely no guarantee they'll ever debut. None.
So all that time
Yeah.
for potentially nothing.
Potentially. And there's a huge financial risk, too. If a contract gets broken, maybe the trainee leaves or the agency drops them, the artist might actually have to repay the agency's investment in their training.
Really? Repay it?
Yeah, which can be, a crushing amount of money, a huge burden, and the training itself, relentless. We're talking years of intensive study, singing, dancing, rapping, acting, all geared towards perfect stage performance, handling live events, getting that sort of celebrity polish.
Right.
Take Yuta Nakamoto from NCT 127. Apparently, he had zero singing or dancing background when he passed SM Entertainment's global audition back in 2012.
No background at all.
Nope. He was inspired after seeing the group TVXQ. He trained then for 3 years and 3 months, completely changed his dream from being a professional football player to becoming an idol.
That's dedication.
And these specialized K-pop academies, they're not cheap either. They can charge up to 600,000 Korean won, which is roughly 400 pounds a month. Wow.
And the competition is just brutal. Statistics suggest only about 5 to 10% of academy students actually make it, successfully debut.
Only 5 to 10%. Those odds are terrible.
Exactly. There was this guy, Kevin Lee, who worked as a backup dancer for BTS. He said he went to over 50 auditions in 4 years. 50. And he mentioned that at 19, his chances were already slim compared to maybe a 50% chance someone who's 17 might have. Age is a huge factor.
It really makes you pause, doesn't it? Imagine dedicating your whole youth, basically, to this dream, knowing the odds are just so stacked against you.
Mm-hmm.
And what often goes unnoticed, I think, is that it's not just a gamble for the trainees. The companies, they're pouring money into this.
Huge investment.
Like apparently an average of 53 million KRW, which is what, around 40,000 US dollars, invested over 3 years for each trainee.
That's right.
And over 60% of that is just for education costs, singing lessons, dance lessons, all of it. It's a massive commitment from both sides, really. And that shapes the whole dynamic, that level of investment and control. Which brings us neatly to the next key point, that the extensive control these agencies have over their idols.
Right. The tight leash.
Exactly. As we sort of touched on, these K-pop agencies, they really are all-purpose management corporations. They cover everything: recruitment, production, training, managing the artists, getting them promotional deals.
Everything under one roof.
Everything. It's this very top-down approach. And it profoundly shapes every single aspect of an idol's life. Public image, sure, but also their private existence.
And some of those practices, they sound incredibly restrictive, even, for celebrities in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Things like no mobile phone rules. Tiffany Young from Girls' Generation talked about having to use payphones in her early days just to call her parents.
Can you imagine payphones?
And then there are the dating bans. JYP Entertainment's founder, Park Jin-young, he famously had that 3-year dating ban for his artists.
Yep, famously strict.
Apparently, he even promised to buy dinner for their boyfriends after the ban ended.
Right, a small consolation, perhaps?
And the physical demands?
Yeah.
They could be extreme. Momo from Twice. She revealed she was told to lose 7 kilograms, that's like 15 pounds, in just 1 week.
1 week? How is that even possible?
She said she resorted to eating only ice cubes for days, and even spitting out saliva to try and lose water weight.
That's incredibly dangerous.
It is. And even huge stars like BTS, you hear stories. RM apparently used to sneak black bean noodles in bathrooms or hide ice cream in his pockets from managers. It just shows that constant scrutiny, that often total lack of personal freedom.
It really paints a picture. And these anecdotes, they shed light on what people used to call slave contracts.
Yes, I've heard that term.
Historically, these agreements were notoriously long-term, incredibly strict. Thankfully, things have improved. There have been significant changes.
Like what?
Well, back in 2014, a law came in guaranteeing underage singers basic rights. The right to learn, to rest, to sleep.
Basic rights, yeah.
And it made it illegal to coerce minors into wearing revealing costumes or performing overly sexualized choreography.
Okay, that's definitely progress.
And then more recently, in 2019, the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism introduced a standard contract. The idea was fairer guidelines for trainees. Things like free education, limiting damage claims if a contract is broken, capping it at the level of education costs.
Okay, those sound like positive steps. But, how effective are these standard contracts, really, if they're just recommendations?
That's a crucial point, isn't it?
Yeah. And what happens when a company invests all that money, like we talked about, only to potentially lose a promising trainee to someone else?
Exactly. While these standard contracts are definitely a step towards fairness, you're right. Their recommended status means that huge power imbalances can, and often do, still persist. And furthermore, there's this really complex dynamic with something called tempering.
Tempering, like poaching.
Essentially, yes, poaching trainees. Back in 2017, the Fair Trade Commission brought in a directive reducing excessive penalty clauses in contracts. The intention was good, make contracts fairer, but it kind of inadvertently made it easier for brokers or even rival companies to poach talented trainees, especially from smaller companies that had invested heavily but maybe couldn't offer the same glittering debut prospects.
So the big guys could benefit.
Potentially. Even major agencies like SM, YG, JYP were affected by those directives in terms of managing their own contracts, but it certainly created new challenges for smaller players trying to hold on to the talent they had nurtured. So yeah, aiming for fairness sometimes has unintended consequences.
It's definitely a complex picture.
Yeah.
And that complexity, it casts a really long shadow, doesn't it? Which leads us to maybe the most challenging part of this whole industry. The immense psychological and social pressures these idols face.
Absolutely. The darker side.
And tragically, these pressures have had just dire consequences. We've seen the heartbreaking suicides of Sully and Guhara, both former girl group members, both victims of just relentless online harassment, cyberbullying.
It's devastating. And these tragedies, they're unfortunately rooted in some broader societal issues within South Korea.
Like what specifically?
Well, there's the pervasive issue of molka.
Well, okay.
It refers to the illicit filming of women, often secretly, without consent. It speaks to a deeper issue of sexism that, well, disproportionately affects female stars.
Right.
And then there's the expectation for idols to maintain this almost impossible ideal image. Strict rules about appearance, staying single, especially when they're young, in their teens or early career.
The perfection standard.
Exactly. Sully's case is a really stark example. She faced this huge backlash for supporting the no-bra movement, just wanting bodily autonomy, and also for dating an older musician when she was only 19.
Just for living her life.
Pretty much. Facing this onslaught of criticism for exercising personal freedom and this relentless scrutiny, it gets intensified by this concept of specs in Korean society.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like judging people based on their stats almost. Family background, education, job, wealth, and especially appearance. For idols, this is magnified incredibly. It leads to intense public focus, jealousy, constant judgment.
That's a really insightful connection to the wider culture. So I guess the question is the K-pop industry just magnifying these existing societal pressures? Or is it actually creating totally new ones for its stars?
That's a good question. I'd say it's probably a bit of both.
Okay.
The industry certainly cranks up existing pressures by putting these individuals on a global stage, right? Where every tiny aspect of their life is dissected. But it also creates unique demands. This expectation of almost untouchable aspirational perfection that can be absolutely crushing.
Yeah.
It really highlights what Professor John Lai called the gulf between illusion and reality.
Illusion versus reality.
Yeah. He points out that the shock, the public outcry when scandals happen, often comes because male K-pop stars, in particular, are presented as these incredibly kind, generous figures, an ideal, maybe contrasting with perceptions of more patriarchal, sexist Korean men. So when that carefully crafted illusion shatters, the public reaction can be incredibly severe. And this manipulation, it doesn't just stop at image control. It extends even to the supposedly interactive parts of the industry. We saw those vote-rigging scandals.
Oh, yeah, the produce shows.
Exactly. Programs like Produce Sex 101, Produce 48. It came out that producers had secretly pre-decided the final lineups for groups like X1 and iZone.
They just picked them anyway.
Right, regardless of the votes.
Largely, yes. And even worse, apparently, they took a cut of the money viewers paid to vote.
No way.
Yeah. It just underscores the potential for manipulation, for exploitation that can exist right beneath the surface, even in shows designed to feel fan-driven, democratic.
Wow. It's such a stark contrast, isn't it? Because you have all this control, these darker realities we've been talking about.
But then there's this other side. This undeniable, incredibly powerful force that really defines K-pop now. And that's its global, mobilized fandom.
The fans. Absolutely crucial.
You, the fans listening, you are truly the engine behind this whole billion-dollar phenomenon.
The scale and the organization of K-pop fandoms are just remarkable. Truly. Take BTS's RMI.
The prime example.
Millions strong, highly organized, incredibly devoted fans. They actively promote the band. They create their own merchandise sometimes. They support the band's socially conscious image.
Well, they do a lot.
They do. Similarly, you see New Jeans fandom, the bunnies, traveling all over the world just to see them perform. It's that level of dedication.
It really is. We even see echoes of that kind of passionate fan power in Western music now, don't we? Like with Taylor Swift's fandom.
Oh, for sure.
Remember when her connection to Travis Kelce started? Suddenly his jersey sales went through the roof.
Astronomical numbers.
And Carson Daly even hosted a Swiftie-themed NFL broadcast. It shows that deep level of engagement that power fans have. It really sets these fandoms apart. And it's incredible how that passion just translates directly into economic power. BTS alone apparently sold over $1.1 billion in branded stuff between 2013 and 2018.
$1 billion in merch.
Yeah. And we're talking everything. Official Mattel dolls, branded cold brew coffee, you name it. A BTS member just mentions something or uses a product, and suddenly it sells out instantly. The golden touch.
You Midas touch, yeah.
Now, okay, it's not always perfect. There can be things like merch shaming within fandoms.
Right.
Where fans feel pressured or criticized if they don't own enough official stuff. There can be classist elements, too, where, having tons of merch is seen as proof you're a good fan.
That pressure exists, definitely.
But we also see incredible positive stuff from fans, like the U.S. BTS Army Group. They host worldwide merch giveaways, charity projects like Album for Every Army to help fans who can't afford albums.
Great initiatives.
And it's not just the official merch either. Fans really get behind small, independent artists who create original K-pop inspired things like That Happy Peach Pin Shop was mentioned.
Yeah, supporting fan creators too. And what's truly fascinating from my perspective is the level of dedication combined with strategic organization.
Strategic? How so?
Fans genuinely see it as their responsibility to support their idols. Financially, yes, but also artistically, they actively drive chart success.
Oh yeah, the streaming parties and buying campaigns?
Exactly. They coordinate massive efforts on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Shazam, everything to make sure their idols hit #1. It's like this unparalleled level of fan-driven activism. It's really something to behold.
It's truly active engagement. It goes way beyond just listening to the music. But, like with any really intense fandom, it's not all sunshine and light stick rainbows, is it?
No, there's definitely a spectrum.
There's that dramatic side, too, from the intense fanshins at concerts, the fan cams. Those videos focusing just on one member.
Right, the individual focus.
Yeah. To the more extreme end, you have stans who are obsessively devoted, maybe sometimes crossing lines. And then the really worrying stuff, the sasaengs.
Yeah, sasaengs, that's different.
Literal stalkers, right?
Yeah.
Invading idols' private lives, sometimes in really dangerous ways. And then you have the antis, just online haters, sometimes getting really vicious, even violent.
It's a complex ecosystem.
It really is. So considering all these different facets, the good, the bad, the intense, what does this all mean for you, the fan listening, or just for anyone trying to understand this global force?
I think it really highlights the immense power and influence that fans wield, for good, like the charity work and the chart success, but also potentially for ill, with the harassment and the stalking side.
Right.
And as the industry looks forward, it's definitely not standing still. It continues its really impressive expansion and diversification.
How so? What are you seeing?
We're seeing more international members in K-pop groups, like Baby Monster has Japanese and Thai members. Lightsome has Hina from Japan.
Okay, more diversity within the groups.
Exactly. But maybe even more significantly, we're seeing the creation of US-based K-pop style groups.
Like VCHA.
Precisely. VCHA, which came out of that JYP and Republic Records collaboration, the A2K competition, and also Ketsi, which is from HYBE, BTS's agency, and Geffen Records.
So taking the model global.
It signals this deliberate move to truly globalize the cultural technology we talked about earlier, to diversify revenue streams beyond Asia. It's about making K-pop a global formula, maybe, rather than just a Korean export.
Interesting. The formula itself is the product.
Kind of. And look at VCHA's members. You've got Lexi, who's Homo-American, trained in ballet. Camila, who's Cuban-Spanish from Montreal. This really diverse talent pool. They go through the tough training system in Seoul.
The boot camp.
Yeah, but they're being marketed with a distinct American identity. And they're already getting huge exposure, open for Twice, performed at Lollapalooza.
That's a massive shift then, making the process global. And it seems like perceptions are changing in Korea, too, about pursuing a K-pop career.
Definitely. What might have once been seen by some families as maybe a disappointing path, not academic.
Right, not a doctor or lawyer.
Exactly. Now, it's often seen as an admired aspiration for young people. It's become a legitimate, even prestigious dream.
What do you think that shift means for the trainees themselves and maybe for the industry's talent pipeline going forward?
Well, on one hand, it validates their dreams. On the other, it means the competition is only going to get even more intense.
More pressure.
Exponentially more pressure, likely, as even more young people chase that dream. But it also speaks to the evolution of K-pop itself. As Eric Nam argued, he succeeded as a solo artist despite facing challenges early on with language and fitting the mold.
Yeah, he's great.
He argues K-pop isn't really a single genre anymore. It's this huge umbrella. It covers a vast array of styles filled with incredibly talented musicians. And if we look at the bigger picture, K-pop's continued success probably relies on this constant evolution, on both embracing its core structures, that training, that management, but also finding ways to transcend them, to connect authentically with diverse global audiences, maybe allow for more individuality. It's a balancing act.
Wow. This has been an incredible deep dive. We've really tried to uncover the layers here, haven't we? K-pop's global dominance.
Well, it's undeniable.
The intense system that produces these stars, the significant pressures, the real challenges idols face, and that incredibly powerful, deeply engaged fandom that fuels it all, for better and sometimes for worse.
Yeah, this journey into K-pop, it really reveals an industry of striking contrasts, doesn't it? Immense, undeniable success built on just relentless dedication, profound emotional connections, between idols and fans, but existing right alongside really stringent control, global adoration intertwined with intense personal struggle.
Yeah.
It definitely prompts us to think about the often hidden human cost behind the dazzling spectacle
Yeah.
and what value we as a society place on art and entertainment in that whole context.
Ultimately, K-pop really does feel like a mirror, reflecting these global desires we all have for connection, for aspiration, maybe for spectacle too.
Well put.
But for you, the listener, and maybe for the industry itself, this whole deep dive, it raises an important, maybe provocative thought to mull over as we finish. As K-pop continues this unstoppable growth, as it globalizes its unique cultural technology, how will it evolve? How will it, or can it, better balance that huge ambition for worldwide domination with the fundamental well-being, the agency of the actual individuals who make it all shine?
That is the question, isn't it?
Something to keep an eye on for sure.